So let's get a response now and speak to Yvonne Deonarain, who is the Gauteng Social Development Department Children Protection Services Director. And this, of course, as you are hearing what is happening on the ground as we are getting a response from, these particular baby savers. But I'd like to get a view from you as government. Why was this decision reached?
Thank you very much. Good evening to your viewers. I think from our side as the Department of Social Development, what we want to put on record is that abandonment is actually a criminal offense. Through this practice, we essentially encouraging birth mothers to follow the route of abandoning their child as opposed to relinquishing their responsibility through the child protection system. And I think I've noted all of what Dr. Rosenberg had indicated, but this is what our concerns are. Our concerns are, where exactly are these baby saving boxes or these illegal baskets? Which CYCCs and child protection organizations actually have this? Because the department is not aware of the practice within these facilities. And correctly so, we register child and youth care centers to provide services. But during our registration process, none of our CYCCs disclose this. It's due to the fact that CYCCs cannot directly accept abandoned children. The matter first needs to go through the children's court, and that's the only time a child can be placed in a CYCC. In addition, we fund what is called private temporary safe care. That's your private homes. According to Baby Savers, they too are now having the boxes and the baby basket program. Now, from our side, we are saying, are these private temporary safe care placements, have they been vetted to receive children, noting the amount of child trafficking we are faced with as a country, noting the amount of sexual abuse that our children are faced with? Are these temporary safe care placements actually being vetted? Have they been screened, assessed, and approved to be temporary safe care? In addition, I want to just add one more point. The department notes with concern that at the moment in Gauteng province, currently, our adoption system raises a number of concerns, the way adoptions is being handled in the country, both national and international adoptions. This particular process of retrieving babies through the baby baskets actually creates a pool of untracked babies at this point. And that is what is a concern for the department. All we're saying at this point, ma'am, is let's try and establish who are those members that are affiliated with Baby Savers. If they are one of our 93 funded child protection organizations, let's support on all the matters raised by Dr. Rosenberg. In addition to that, if we are saying that there are a number of cases where hospitals are not supporting, the only way we can address it is if we bring it to the fore and we tackle these matters, because our hospitals have social workers in place that are quite familiar with the protocols, that should a mother wish or have any sense of anxiety of wanting to give her baby up whilst remaining anonymous, the hospitals have standard protocols in place. So if those are not being applied, let's try and get those strengthened in the child protection system.
All right, I hear all of that, and it does make sense. It does make sense that you're trying to put safety precautions in place, but do you have enough social workers to be able to assist with this? Because now there's a concern that you do not have enough social workers. There's not enough support for these particular mothers who want to do this. For example, hearing about a mother in Durban who even put a note on a baby to say, I've tried the police, I've tried the hospital, I've tried everybody else. I'm not able to then be able to get help, and this is the last resort. So do you have enough?
We do have enough social workers. Let me just explain how and why. We have, in the Gauteng province, we have 5 regional offices, all having service points and satellite points, with social workers managing those service points and satellite points. In addition to that, we fund, like I said, 93 child protection organizations. A bulk of the department budgets go towards covering child protection services to ensure that all legislations, because the Act is very prescriptive, it outlines in detail the services and interventions and processes that need to be followed. Therefore, we support through the funding of child protection organization funding of social work posts within child protection organizations.
So very briefly, in 20 seconds, what happens now for you to find each other? Because they're raising some very valid points. You're raising some very valid points as well to avoid trafficking. But have you started the work to vet? And have you started the work to be able to sit at the table and agree on what happens here? Because babies' lives are at stake.
Absolutely. I think the first starting point from our side would be, who are our child protection organizations whom we are funding? They are already our partners. We have service level agreements in place with them. Who are our child protection organizations that are members of Baby Saver? We would like to also establish how many babies between the period of April to September, October current date, how many babies were actually abandoned through the illegal baskets? What is the current status of those babies at this point in time? Further to that, we did say we need to engage with baby savers because it's an important platform to create awareness on what are the processes that should be followed with a mother relinquishing her responsibility as a parent. Thank you.
So, Yvonne, it does sound like both arguments, are compelling, and both sides need to sit at the table and really just craft a way forward here, because these are some of, the most important things that you were raising, and they're raising important points as well. So we'll continue to track and see how between the two of you as organizations, you're then able to find one another so that we don't see babies being dumped in unsafe environments with mothers not sure what to do. That is Yvonne Deonarain, who is Gauteng Social Development Department Children Protection Services Director.